Okay. Hey. It's your girl, Bridget Brown Jackson. Listen, technology sometimes doesn't want you to be great. So I had recorded this earlier. So if you saw me start earlier, you didn't see me finish. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. Just stay tuned, stay here, listen. My name is Bridget Brown Jackson. I am a behavioral wealth specialist. And so I've been talking about behaviors, and we can't talk about behaviors without talking about emotional intelligence, one of the most impactful, important things for leaders, right? As a leader, we always do the hard skills and we want to learn about or use rather our intelligence. But our IQ is important, but our EQ is way more important. So let's unpack that. So I've been talking over the past couple of days and we've been talking about the different components. So I'll go back and backtrack. So it's 5 components of EQ: your self awareness, your self regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills, right? So today I was talking about motivation, and then my iPhone, y'all see my iPhone? My iPhone didn't want me to be great. So I don't know what it did. It glitched. The heat index here where I'm at is 101 degrees. Maybe it was tripping with it too. I don't know. But whatever. We're gonna do take two. Y'all ready? Bridget Brown Jackson, emotional intelligence, round two. All right, or take two. So what I was talking about, I was saying if we look at motivation and goal setting, so that you can get the results that you want as like the entree, okay? It's that dinner, it's that meal. We can look at all the other pieces. If wait a minute, yeah, well, let me go back because now I got off. If your dreams, let me unpack that and go back. If your dreams is the entree, motivation and goal setting is going to be the seasoning, the spices, the other stuff that you put in it. And I was saying on the first taping, this is tape number two, when I was saying the first time, my husband is an amazing cook, an amazing, amazing cook. And so he can put up some stuff and oh, the taste is just delectable. So again, think about your dreams. You cannot just have dreams. So if you are a C-suite, somebody in C-suite, or if you're a business owner and you have a vision for your organization, but if we don't put some motivation, season it with some motivation and season it with goal setting, we're not going to have that. Well, we have a lot of people a lot of times that will do the goal setting. That's a part of most corporate skeletons, right? When I say the skeletal, the actual backbone. We used to do this thing as a teacher called fishbone diagram. So as the backbone of it. But when you really, really want to move, motivation is really, really important. And so I'm actually seeing this right now with a client. I have a client that is haphazardly getting some things coming in, doing the work, getting the revenue, but sometimes the invoices are taking too long to come through. Well, people will start losing motivation. So it's really, really important that we do the things that we need to do. Okay. So I want you all to, I'm sorry, I'm sending a text. Okay. So back to it. So let's do this. Less than 10 minutes, we'll be out of here. All right. So the first thing about motivation is just understanding motivation. You need to understand the power of intrinsic motivation. So we got extrinsic motivation and we have intrinsic motivation. And so extrinsic motivation is without you. But in order for you to impact as a leader without you, you have to make sure you're impacting within you. That's why emotional intelligence is so very important. Do you understand, again, that sizzle of your motivation? Do you understand how when you bring that to the table, it can spark and ignite other things? So, motivation is really, really key. What fuels the passion? What lights up your road on your journey? Well, motivation is going to do that. And I'll tell you right now, being an entrepreneur, and even when I was a leader running other people's multi-million dollar organizations, listen, it, I had to motivate and I had to self motivate before I could motivate my staff. And so that intrinsic motivation is very, very important. What makes you get up every day and strive? Well, one is knowing what your why is. What is your why? We'll get to that. We'll come back to that in just a second. But you definitely have to have an incredible why, right? And then secondly, I want you to understand that goal setting is so very important because you want to goal set, but you want to goal set with purpose. And so set those goals and set them and be realistic. One of the things that I do with my clients is I teach them to do goals and to set them in SMART goals, right? Making sure again they are absolutely realistic. Okay, so what's your personal journey for goal setting for yourself first? Because if you can't do it personally, so I'm talking about this to leaders. So I'm sharing this with you as a leader, but then also you got to make sure your personal is tight. Because if your personal life is not together, you carry that over into that business with you. You carry that over into that corporation with you. You carry that over into that nonprofit with you. You take that piece with you. You cannot disconnect from the two of them. Your personal life and your professional life is definitely meshed. Listen, I know what I'm talking about. I am absolutely a coach, and I work with people on their behaviors and I work with them on their habits. And so I have people that are highly educated, have clients that are doctors, have clients that are 6 and 7 figure business owners. And guess what? They are still struggling. And there's some different things. So making sure that you are emotionally sound. And when I say that, I'm talking about self-aware, know how to regulate those emotions, have some motivation, intrinsic first, empathy for other people, and last but not least, some social skills. All right. And so having that is going to be very important to you. Now, I want to move on next because I want you to have some action items. But before we get to that, I want to talk to you about getting the results. So when you have the motivation, intrinsic and extrinsic, then you also can make sure that you are literally walking in purpose with goals that are set realistically. Okay. And then on top of that, you're going to add and mesh the results. You're going to get those spectacular results if you are putting in the work and doing the things that you need to do. So you want to maneuver motivation and goals and interweave that with a lot of determination, a lot of passion. And here's where we're going to get to the why. And then getting down to the why of the why of the why of the why. Because when you get down to those pieces, your why will always be your North Star, even when sometimes you don't feel like it. Now, if you're a leader, come on now. I led high performing teams for 17 years before I launched out and started my own. So now I don't have as big and as large as a team as I had then, but I still have to do the work, whether it's a small team, whether you're a solopreneur, whether you're a C-suite executive and you have hundreds, you have, tens or thousands. You literally have to make sure that you are bringing it and you are bringing it first. So let me give you a couple of things again that you can have action on. I always want people to be actionable. I want you to be able to have action. So number one, connect your purpose. What is that purpose? Again, deep dive into that why. The why of the why of the why. So I do this activity with my clients that's called 7 layers deep. Right. I didn't come up with it. I stole it from Dean Graziosi back in 2018. And I've been doing it with my clients ever since. I did it with myself first. And it really helps to get down to the core. Because when you get down to the core, then you're going to keep on doing the things that you need to do. One of my whys are my grandchildren, and their picture is plastered on my board in my office. So I'm constantly seeing them because I ask myself, because my personality style, so I'm a behavior strategist, but I also use the DISC assessment to help people understand that, right? So my personality is the I type, or what I call it, the flight attendant, based off of Eric Thomas's flight assessment that he delivers, right? So he has his own DISC, okay? And I'm a flight attendant. So sometimes I can get so caught up in other people and the excitement that sometimes I can lose sight of the actual action. And so, or the decision making. And so what I have to always do is remember the decision that I make today, will it affect my legacy? Will it affect those faces, those beautiful 14 faces? I have 14 grandchildren. I know I don't look like it, but I do. And I did not have my children in high school. Anyways, back to the story. Literally, you want to make sure you connect with the purpose, okay? And then break down the goals. What are those goals? Turn those monumental goals into a tantalizing puzzle. So, in other words, you got this big old puzzle, right? And you want to put the pieces together. When you put the pieces together, it's this beautiful picture. But before that, it's all these different pieces. And sometimes they might not look like they connect until you start moving them around to make sure they connect them. So break down those goals. And then I want you to celebrate your progress. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate your progress. We don't do this enough. I know when I'm talking to my clients, I'm always telling them, did you celebrate? In fact, when I have a call with my clients, or if I'm doing a workshop, the first thing that I'm going to start them out with, I want to hear your wins. I want to hear your lessons. I want to hear those accomplishments, the things that you had, because we don't do that enough. So I do this model called the ABC model. And when you're trying to start a new habit, you anchor whatever you're trying new to a behavior that you already do and to celebrate. So I make that a part of the routine. I teach that with my clients, right? So you want to make sure you celebrate your progress. Those little milestones mean a lot. And last but not least, let go of your passion. Let that passion out. Let that passion out. When people hear your passion, see your passion, they are likely to join on board. We're going back to motivation. So if you have a team, that team wants to see that you're passionate about what you're talking about. Because when they're passionate, I always say this, I'm a minister too, by the way. So what I say to people is literally, it will go and it will move. All right. I'm past my 10 minutes. I wanted to keep you on the 10 minutes. I got excited because this is take two. Listen, so I want you to take your team, take your leadership to a whole nother level. So remember, the 5 components of emotional intelligence is so very important. How are you putting it in your business? How are you putting it in your leadership? Remember, self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, social skills, and empathy are crucial to leaders. My name is Bridget Brown Jackson. I am the founder of Exponential Edge Adventures. It has been amazingly wonderful to be with you today. We'll be back and talk more about emotional intelligence. You have a great and amazing evening.